right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sustained Overload. Energy's a little low. Doing laundry, you guys. I'm doing laundry. I'm a little behind schedule, but I'll eventually get there. All right, so last night we started taking a look at some of the or at least we looked at the backdrop of Jackie Johnson's charges. Okay, it is alleged that she interfered with the investigation against Gregory McMichael and Travis McMichael and the neighbor. I forgot the neighbor's name, Rhodey or somebody along those lines. Okay, so we are basically preparing ourselves. This is in anticipation of the trial set for January 21st of 2025. I was going to come up here and talk about Donald Trump, but I don't feel like it right now. I'll talk about Donald Trump tomorrow. All right, let's get into this. Okay, so FFS says that he was busy last night and didn't get to watch. You can watch the replay tomorrow. You can watch the replay from last night tomorrow. Okay, so what we are going to do, I'm still doing laundry, so I might have to step away. But I kind of wanted to get into, I really wanted to get into Trevor's testimony, okay? That's what I wanted to take a look at. But we don't really have a lot of time tonight. Yeah, tonight I can only do an hour, you guys. Tomorrow we have plenty of time, but tonight I can only do an hour because I need to go talk to my man, baby. But I mean, I already talked to him, but I need to talk to him some more. Okay, you guys, like these next few days, shout out to Walmart. That's actually what I was gonna say when I came up here. I know I have an alarm. I don't know. There's an alarm for some reason. FFS, we have an hour to go. I do not know that I have the bandwidth for 2 hours. I can guarantee an hour. The rest we'll see how it goes. I can guarantee an hour. All right. But let's get into this. I'm starting. I know we did not. I don't want to do opening though. Closing's always fun. Maybe we should do it in order. I'm so chaotic. Okay, let's do it in order. Let's do it in order. I was gonna do closing, but let's hold on. Let me open a different tab. One moment, one moment. I'll play this video. Am I sharing my screen? I am sharing my screen. FFS says we have 24 hours in a day. You got 23. 23 to talk to him. I know about all that. A man has things to do. He actually has things. I mean, I have stuff to do too, but I always have time for bullshit. Him, on the other hand, he's a serious fella. All right, I'm gonna play this while I am waiting for, or while I'm searching for the opening. I think it probably makes sense to go with opening first. I was gonna do it in reverse because I prefer closing, but whatever. There's some of that great value water.
My father worked for almost 50 years as a life insurance salesman, not because he liked it, because he didn't. He did it because he had 3 kids that he wanted to see grow up in a neighborhood that was safe and secure.
That's insane.
A safe home.
Okay, this. I mean, we've seen yesterday. We saw this defense attorney be very problematic. The closing is already really problematic. I don't know. Let's listen to her.
Surrounded by a community.
She's very problematic. Hold on. I need to make sure. I think I know where she's heading because it sounds like she painted Arbery. She made him out to be a danger. This is what it sounds like.
Didn't. He did it because he had 3 kids that he wanted to see grow up in a neighborhood that was safe and secure.
That's insane.
A safe home surrounded by a community of neighbors who cared for each other. Band-aids for skinned knees, July 4th parties, block parties that went on for
I
hours,
cannot listen to her. I mean, we have to,
crocheted
but
baby
hold
blankets
on.
when a new child was born, casseroles when we'd lost a loved one.
I don't know.
He worked hard day and night to provide those things for the people that he loved. Larry English was a contractor in Douglas, Georgia, who worked hard every day to provide for his wife.
I suppose this this type of closing argument is tailored towards a specific type of juror. This is what it sounds like to me. Hey, real thing, how's it going? So I did not know. I'll put the link up here, real thing. I did not know if you watched yesterday's live. I mean the replay. Okay, so we have started taking a closer look at Jackie Johnson's case. Trial begins 121 2025. So the reason why we're doing this is because we are. Oh, I was like, what? If it's all right, never mind. Okay, so the reason why we are doing this is in order to bring everybody up to speed in preparation or in anticipation of that trial moving forward. So in order to understand the charges against, did you change your profile? I think you did. Hey, Laugh, I love your profile picture. Okay, so in order to i- in order for folks to be able to um be up to speed as far as the Jackie Johnson trial is concerned, I thought it's important to, basically build the blocks. And by that, we would have to start with, from the very beginning. All right. And the very beginning is obviously the untimely and tragic death of Arbery. Okay, and then Real Thing says this defense attorney said some unnecessary and nasty things about the victim. Her disparaging comments about the victim did not exonerate her clients. And I mean, eventually they were convicted, but I don't know. I don't know where they teach. I don't know where they teach this, but all right. You're sweet. You're sweet. Okay, okay. Let's get back into this.
Wife and 2 children, and to save for his dream to live on the water
FFA said this does not even sound like a closing, but this is, I don't know. Mm, I don't know.
in a neighborhood just like
I'm gonna
that.
have to listen to her. Oh, did she make an opening? I don't think so. But I'm gonna have to take a listen. I don't know. Let me. Oh, there was a trial, not a trial, a sentencing going on today. Hopefully I'm able to. I don't know that by this weekend I'd have cleared uh my laptop enough to have space to edit. I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna have to wait for my man, you guys. So this is, but I wanted to talk about that. Might just be a live video. I wanted to talk about the sentencing for, it was out of Ohio. It was called massacre something. I don't know, but the judge went off on the prosecution. Okay, let's go.
Safe, secure,
Safe.
filled with people who would care for each other.
You guys know already, okay? Live said you guys have to hit that like button, okay?
And when he became ill, he and his wife, Amy, had to fast forward their dreams. They fast forwarded that retirement dream,
I hope she's
bought
right.
that land, and began working on their dream home, the
Okay.
project of building that home in Satilla Shores. It's the sort of life we all have the right to seek, the safety and security and comfort of people that we care about.
Yeah, but I suppose this closing argument would have made sense had the facts been different, but I don't know that her argument is not tailored. I don't know. It doesn't fit the argument does not fit the facts. So I am inclined to believe that she was making, by she I mean the defense attorney was making an emotional appeal to the jurors. I would like to think that there are folks on this jury that she could possibly that thought would resonate with this argument. But I don't know how though. I'll have to look up at that. I'll have to look up the jury makeup because it was at Brunswick. I think we looked up the demographics for Brunswick, Georgia, and those numbers do not seem to favor this type of argument.
And who care about us. We work hard for our stuff. It's ours, and no one has the right to take it.
I don't know. I know what she's talking about. I know what she's talking about.
And we should never, ever have to fear intruders. The police.
All right, so listen here. You guys need to listen. All right, Laugh said that you guys have to hit that like button, okay? In order to show your support. My girl said it's free. Thank you so much, Laugh. When I figure this YouTube thing out, I need to make you a moderator because you know how this stuff goes. We cannot wait for Tatiana to get here. What's up, Allie? Hey, Allie and Junior Co-Counsel. How you doing?
Can be counted on to help, to respond. But they can't be everywhere and they can't be everything.
Okay, so she's definitely making what is this? Maybe an extension of this safe streets argument. But, I don't know. Defense attorney is very problematic.
A good neighborhood is always policing itself. Mr. Moore, you really need to put a fence around that swimming pool. I'm worried.
Okay, so Real Thing says that the prosecutor in this case is very skilled. I wanted to go back. I was ambivalent. When I started this video, I didn't know it was just FFS and I in here, but I wanted to go back to Trevor's direct, but I don't have a lot of time tonight. Tonight, I'm saying I'm going an hour. FFS wants to go 2 hours. I'm saying an hour. I need to go an hour, you guys. I need to talk to my man. So, so we're gonna do an hour. But I think we do have sufficient time between this week and next week to go over to go over their direct as well as the cross-examination. We definitely have enough time.
Afraid a child will fall in.
What did she say?
That swimming pool. Mr. Moore, you really need to put a fence around that swimming pool. I'm worried a child will fall in. Mrs. Pennock, Bobby is flying down Crossbrook Drive again in that new car. You have to talk with him and get him to slow.
FFS, I need to nurture my relationship, okay? My man will be here next weekend, and I'm really, really, really excited. I've been acting like a little girl. I've been acting like a little girl. Oh, maybe a teenager. Yeah, I've been acting like a teenager all day. I'm really excited.
So no one is hurt. The police can't be everywhere. And in a safe, secure neighborhood, police are helped by those neighbors. Officer Rash testified. Okay. Neighbors help neighbors, and neighbors help the police.
Anna, I'm not going to criticize her, so I'll just let it speak.
There are really only 2 questions for you to answer to reach your verdict in the charges that the state has brought against Greg McMichael.
Drop that. I almost dropped it. Girl, turn.
Greg McMichael,
she is struggling.
Have reasonable and probable grounds of suspicion to believe that Ahmaud Arbery had committed a burglary at 226.
I think with this case, I'm gonna have to take a another look at the case out of Florida. Travis, what's his last name? I don't know. I forgot. I forgot. But the reason why, hold on. Let me find the county first. I want to look up something.
Tilla Drive. And did he have reasonable and probable grounds to believe that Ahmaud Arbery was escaping or attempting to escape yet again on February 23rd? It is a 9-count indictment. 9 counts. So why only 2 questions? Well, I want to suggest to you what the state suggested, but in reverse. I'd like to suggest a methodical, efficient way to think about all this law and all these charges. I suggest that you begin at the beginning. Count 1.
That's right, Lap. I need to butter him up very nicely, okay? By the time that he gets here, it's kind of on. All right, okay, let me play this video because I'm just getting distracted. I'm really distracted, but I'm really happy because again, in 2 weeks it will be my birthday weekend, and I'm gonna be doing it 50 big. All right, 50 big.
Malice murder. And then take all the rest of those counts, 2 through 9, as one big chunk as you consider these important questions. Even count 1, that malice murder count, is defended by the answers to those questions. But with malice murder, I suggest to you, you don't even have to get to those questions. Greg McMichael pulled no trigger. How could the state seek a conviction for malice murder as Greg stood in the bed of the pickup truck on the phone with 911 as the fatal shots were fired? As a party to the crime, Ms. Dunikoski told you about the law that the judge will give you. If someone intentionally helps or aids or procures or hires or assists in the commission of a crime, they can be as guilty as the principal, as the person who fired the shots. But what is so very different about count 1 is that it's malice murder.
Okay, so the I suppose this argument, again, it sounded like the argument was specifically directed to specific members of the jury, and I suppose it does make sense because the jury makeup, in this case, it was 11 white individuals and 1 black person. Okay, and then there were 2 alternates, a white woman and a white man. So it does sound like okay, but that's a difference though. Okay, because I had focused on, I think it's called Brunswick, Georgia. We last night we took a look at those demographics, but we should have focused on the county as a whole because Glenn County, it has a population, or at least at the time, it had a population of about 26% of the population was black. Okay, so that's what I figured. This argument was directed at, it was directed, I guess, at the other folks and not so much the 1 black individuals, because only this closing argument makes no sense. So this whole thing about a safe neighborhood, this and that.
It requires the desire and the intent to kill, the deliberate intention to take the life of another human being.
So real thing is out there parenting, baby. Good for you.
Where all of the circumstances of the killing.
Live said 1 person has not hit that like button, okay?
show that an individual acted with an
He
abandoned
really does not
and
play.
malignant heart. The state will have to be asking you to find that Greg McMichael advised or encouraged Travis McMichael, his son, to take the life of Ahmaud
Shout out to Survivor. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Arbery, because that's what he wanted to do. For no reason other than to see
Hey, no one.
that young man die. And to see him die at the hands of his own son. And to do it right there in front of his eyes.
Man.
Because the guy keeps breaking down and breaking into that house down the street. That's the level of criminal intent, the level of depravity, heartlessness, sickness that you would need to find beyond a reasonable doubt to find Greg McMichael guilty of malice murder.
I don't know. Yeah. If only you guys could see my facial expression right now. I'm not very impressed with this defense attorney.
That's why I suggest that you begin with count one and quickly dispatch of it with a not guilty verdict. And then move down to the remaining counts.
And I believe
Counts
you
2
wrote
through
all of
9.
this down.
Because it comes down to this. If Greg McMichael was authorized by law to attempt to execute a citizen's arrest, to try to detain Ahmaud Arbery for the police to come and do their job, to try to keep peace and safety within that neighborhood,
Yeah.
then they were within the law to hold him there for the police.
That man had no powers. Okay.
How else does one hold an individual who does not want to be arrested for the police?
What are you
You
arresting
have
him
to
for? What were they
contain
arresting him for?
Not false imprison him, contain him. You have to possibly hold him at gunpoint.
Laugh is something serious. She says that I want all of my pages I follow to get the respect and appreciation they deserve. You're so sweet. Okay, let me leave FFS alone because FFS is actually really funny. Hey, Jazzy Jazz, what's up? What's up? What's up? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let me get back. I'm easily distracted.
Without firing a shot, not an aggravated assault, but the use of a reasonable and measured amount of force.
Yeah, Survivor that will eventually come up in this video, but we saw portions of that last night. Let me leave her.
Force to make him stay where he did not want to stay. So if they were acting within the law in trying to execute a citizen's arrest, to detain Ahmaud Arbery,
Left, what are you referring to?
for the police,
Then
then
you say that I still think about you talking about those. What are you referring to? What are those? Let's see. Let's see. And Jasmine says, I have to hook. Oh, oh, okay. So Jasmine wants no one to hook me up with some instrumentals. I need a lot of help on YouTube. So I really need a lot of help because half the time I don't know what I'm doing. And then Laugh says, I still laugh to this day. Oh, I get it. What was that man's name? What was his name? I forgot. The YFN God, what's his name? It starts with an S or something. You guys know I don't know anything about names. Like I have a hard time recalling.
Travis had every single right to defend himself when Ahmaud Arbery inexplicably.
Which comment did I skip over? Jasmine, you know I don't have glasses on, so I'm trying my very best to, cover
A
everything.
sharp left turn at the right front of the truck, seeking to disarm Travis McMichael. So,
Okay.
who's
All right,
got to
no
prove
one.
what? We begin as we always
And
begin.
Survivor
in
says
courtroom,
the prosecutor was
innocence.
awesome.
and we stay there unless and until the state proves to you that this
I
was
read, I
not
read in his
a
eyes.
citizen's arrest and that Travis was not justified in defending himself against
Right.
Ahmaud
That's
Arbery's
his name,
attack.
Shell Cal.
And they have to convince you of that. Remove your belief
Kelly Kelly.
in that citizen's arrest or justification to such a degree
Shout out to all those who parent, okay?
that you've got left nothing in your minds to doubt it. And that sounds like an enormous burden. Why? Because they have to make you sure of it.
All right. So, no one, I'm going to have to take some time to think. Yeah, I'm going to have to take some time to think. I'm tired. I'm still doing laundry. I'm still doing laundry. My timer's going to go off in a little bit. Yeah, let me think about that. Let me think about that. Let me think about that.
You have to have no hesitation, no ambivalence, absolute certainty, because the
That is
stakes
not
are
true.
as high as they come. It's the highest level of proof we ever ask for in a courtroom. The court will tell you when they say murder
It's
and
misstating
the
the
facts
standard
raise
beyond reasonable
justification,
doubt.
and the judge will tell you justification is self-defense, justification is citizen's arrest. That when the facts are raised to support those defenses, that the state has to disprove
I
them.
kind of want to skip because I'm really annoyed with her right now, but I don't know. We'll give her some difference.
That you were justified. But why? Why is the standard so incredibly high? And the answer is something we witnessed in this very courtroom.
I'm not even, I don't know. Let me leave that alone. FFS, I'm not going to entertain
In
you.
science, errors can happen. And without diligent investigation and inquiry, people can be convicted on.
I guess we could start with an intro. My intro is just, it's okay. FFS said that I need I need it all. I actually do love drill music. I love drill music. So I love drill music. That might be the vibe. That might be the vibe.
The slightest errors, stripped of their freedom for.
Think a cross between King Von and Vince Staples. Okay, yeah, I don't even know if anybody will. Yeah, I think like a mesh between those two.
For another's inattention or mistakes. Imagine if Dr. Donahue, with all that experience,
She's never mind. I was gonna talk about her shoes. I'll leave her
made
alone.
the decision, the conclusion that the muzzle to target range, the end of Travis's shotgun to the chest of Ahmaud Arbery, was 4 feet away, based on a photograph he compared in a book, without having watched the video, and more egregiously, without even having looked at the clothes that covered Ahmaud Arbery's body.
And here's the thing again, with when it comes to prosecution, you don't, I mean, the facts in this case pretty much spoke for themselves. But you don't always need to have a you don't have to have a perfect case. The investigations have to be complete. You don't want too many holes in your case, but you don't need absolute perfection.
Imagine if that initial conclusion had been all true in this case.
Yeah, FFS pretty much sums it up. Yep. That's exactly what I'm going for. Okay. Uh oh, okay. Yeah. What was his name again? Shell Cal. Okay, so no one apparently would have to listen to them because he does not really listen to other people's music. Okay, so you can be a okay, I understand that though. I completely get that. That's how I feel about a lot of things. And then don't investigate like Fulton County. Um, okay, reference tracks to pinpoint to. I'm gonna listen. Okay, I'll type because I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to listen to me talk about nonsense the whole time. So okay, hold on. Let me three come to mind. The first one, uh, I've been listening to, I don't know, Sosa and Lola Reese. I really like that beat. Um, I like that beat. And then for Vince Staples, I absolutely love North North. I like Fun. I like East Point Prayer. And then for King Von, I love anything and everything that he has ever touched. So yeah, I know that's a lot to work with.
Wouldn't that have misled you? Wouldn't that have led you
Like for me to send you an email instead? I don't have social media, I only have email. So would you like me to send you an email?
to wonder how what you saw in that video could match the
Oh, okay.
opinion of a scientist? Imagine
Laugh
if
is so sweet to me, you guys. She is so sweet to me. Oh, thank you, honey.
Brian Leopard hadn't tested Ahmaud Arbery's
I mean,
shirt
don't encourage me a little too much now because I do get out of control, but yeah.
and scientifically concluded, based on that stippling, that these were contact or near contact wounds. Imagine further if I hadn't emailed Dr.
All right, I'm quickly going to go check on my laundry. 1 minute.
Donahue to take another look at his conclusions based upon the clothing and Brian Leopard's expert report, and further imagine if Dr. Donahue was not an honorable scientist, if he wasn't willing to admit he'd made a mistake and take another look at the science. So that instead of 3 to 4 feet, we now know it's contact or 3 inches. 3 inches as opposed to 4 feet. That is a demonstration to you why the system has to work this way, why the state has such a high burden, with evidence that leaves absolutely no reason to doubt, before any one of you can consider declaring that a man seeking to protect himself and his community is a murderer. You determine the facts, and the judge will tell you the law. So, of course, you need to be given the facts accurately and completely. The painful beauty of this case is that almost all of it is recorded. Security videos from outside people's homes in Satilla Shores. Difficult to listen to 911 tapes. And then, of course, the really hard thing to look at, the cell phone video that captured the last moments. Based on those undisputed recorded facts, still in the face of all that you
All right,
heard
I'm back.
the state's case demonstrated in opening what Mr. Hope told you in opening statement. He told you Greg McMichael was absolutely certain, and he was absolutely right. You were so attentive.
All right, so no one, what is your email? What's your email?
And I thank you for that. We all do. You took a lot of notes, and there was a lot of things to take notes about. So you know that the very first word
Oh, thank you. I'm a natural.
out of Greg McMichael's mouth.
Dang, no one is actually really working. He's gonna listen to Lil Reese. Like that song. That's a yeah, that's a wonderful song. Okay, so okay, Survivor says she has to parent and drop her daughter off at 6 a.m. So okay, so we have you until 11:30 at the latest. Yeah, parenting is very fundamental. Okay, parenting very fundamental. Okay, so she'll probably end before. I know. I'll be doing laundry for a bit. Oh really? What time is it? Yeah, I'll be doing laundry for a little bit. I might, add an extra 30 minutes or whatever. But you guys know I need to talk to my man. I need to talk to my man. I need to talk to my man. So yeah. Now I absolutely here's the thing about me. I need to do my laundry on Friday. Because if I don't get that out of the way, then I cannot get to the rest of my chores. So, yeah, I has to be done, has to be done. And I do have a lot of clothes. Like you'd think I don't wash every you'd think I don't wash every week. I always have loads of, yeah, I have a lot of laundry to do. Oh, and that brings me to next weekend. Okay, my man gets here next Friday. All right. I'm very, very excited. So I am not exactly sure if I'm gonna go live next weekend. Not next weekend, like on Friday, because I'm gonna have to do my laundry. And like right now, I can fold tomorrow, but I cannot have a bunch of laundry laying around when this man gets here. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna have to fold and put everything away and shine my floors and everything before he gets here. So yeah, but we'll see. Next weekend, I'm not exactly sure if I go live, but if I do go live, that is going to be the last Friday that I go live. I'm just gonna stick to the other 6 days of the week, and then Friday will be my laundry day. We could literally, you know what? On Fridays, right? We could literally watch the first 48 individually and take over the chat because they've changed it a little bit now. But there used to be a time when they'd upload an episode every Friday, and that used to be my regular routine. I would fold laundry and watch the first 48. I know, sounds very killer. But that used to be my routine.
That there was no doubt in his mind as to who this guy was. He told Officer Brandeberry that, and it was captured on the body cam that you saw.
That
And
says a lot
later,
about him.
interviewed at the Glynn County Police Department by Parker Marcy. That investigator told you, here's his statement. Here's what he told me. I watched him. And when he came by me, I got a good, really good look at him. So, I mean, it's the same guy. And
Not
it
impressed.
was Ahmaud Arbery on the video.
I am not
He
impressed.
was an intruder. Larry English had reported because he.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking? What are you drinking? I don't know. I don't have anything to drink. I'm so dry out here. I bought I love carbonated drinks. Like that's my weakness. So I did not buy beer though. I tried to buy the red Jamaican ginger beer, and I don't know why they had it on the website. The store had it on the website, but when I went to go pick up my order, they did not have it. So they gave me some random brand, and I don't know. It doesn't taste too good. Yeah, it doesn't taste too good. It just tastes like sugar. That's literally it. It just tastes like sugar.
He believed that an intruder had taken thousands of dollars of boat equipment off the offshore boat that had been parked in his RV parking garage. It was Ahmaud Arbery.
FFS is so funny. So never mind. I'll leave it alone.
Night after night, without authority, to a place where valuables were stored. with no
No,
legitimate.
I have a lot. I do change a lot, but my kid also changes a lot, and I don't know. I don't understand why I'm always. I don't get it. I mean, I wear a minimum of 2 outfits a day, and I use clean towels, and I have to wash my bed sheets every Friday. So yeah, you just I don't know. I don't know. I might need to cut back.
Reason for being there. And it was Ahmaud Arbery, as Greg McMichael told immediately after being questioned, who had hauled ass from that
Yeah.
house on February 23rd
Okay.
after he'd
So
looked.
it's pronounced soju. Dang, 15% down. I don't know about that one, Laugh. I do not know about that. So she says it's better than sake. Kawasaki is horrible. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it. So you said it's called soju. Let me find it on the internet. I'm gonna find it on the internet.
Through the window at Matt
I'm not gonna
Albenze
find it.
on the
I'm
phone.
definitely not gonna find it here because I cannot find. Again, this grocery on the website they claim to have Jamaican beef patties. I don't usually eat frozen food, but I can eat Jamaican beef patties any day of the week. And they don't have basic things. Again, I'm in a new state and they just don't have stuff out here. They don't maybe it's because I live in the country though, so that might be it.
That he
So,
ran from that home.
oh,
Add all that
I missed that.
knowledge.
What did you say?
Looked through the window February 23rd after he'd looked through the window at Matt Albenze on the phone
Okay.
that he ran from that home.
So this is made from fermented rice, wheat, or barley. Oh, it's often compared to vodka. I know about that. Okay, apparently it has a slightly sweeter taste. Okay, it's often consumed with where are we? It's often consumed straight in small shot glasses. Oh no. Ugh. I drink beer. Okay, I drink beer because it's not. I'm featherweight. 2 beers, I'm out. So I don't know. I'll try it though because I like to try stuff. Is this on Amazon? I have a gift card. I have a gift card that I can, put to good use. Amazon.
Add all that knowledge, that certainty, to what he learned when Travis jumped into the truck and shared with him what he saw on the driver's side of that truck.
That's not an evidence, and I object to.
Yeah.
This is never an evidence, and state objects to
I think there was a question posed a few weeks ago about this. It related to the Weisel trial, whether attorneys can object during what is this closing opening. Here we have prime example. It's something that can be done. It's not always done because it can be disruptive, but she is just going off on I don't know where she's going.
That's not an evidence.
Your Honor, I believe that is an evidence, and I believe that Travis McMichael testified, and these statements that I'm talking about
That's
is evidence.
something else.
I believe you have the jury to remember the evidence.
Okay, so they don't sell soju on Amazon. I don't think are there any. I'll see. I'm gonna have to see if there are any stores around me.
These are, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it is up to the jury to recall the evidence that has been presented in this trial. Again, what lawyers say is not evidence. So it is up to you to recall what the evidence is in the case and to go ahead and address this matter on that basis. I don't have a complete listing of all statements made, but it's up to you, ladies and gentlemen, to recall that. And just because a lawyer says something, again, does not mean it is evidence, and this is argument. Go ahead.
You will be the decider of the facts. You took the notes, and I trust what you will remember from this trial. That Travis jumped into the driver's seat of that truck after having seen Matt Albenze standing in front of 220 Satilla Drive and pointing down that street.
So dramatic.
Signaling down that street. That the man that Travis McMichael
All right,
had
so I do not see a store where I'm talking to Life. I don't see a store where I can buy this. Because I see it's called an Asian Mart, but according to the sections they have here, they have wholesale, they have canned foods, they have Chinese food, Filipino, Indian, Japanese, and Vietnamese. Yeah, I don't even know. Based on these reviews, I don't know that I'd go there. But I am traveling in about 2 weeks because I have CLEs to attend to, and then I'll make a note. I'll be in a much larger city, so I should be able to find something. If I do get to try it, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how I like it.
seen only 11 days earlier with his own eyes, and then slowly pulled up alongside so that he could confirm for himself, Dad's right. This is the guy. And the judge will tell you, you will gather the facts from the totality of the circumstances. Did they have a reasonable and probable cause to believe that this was the guy? And you can know, and the judge will tell you, that you gather that from every sense that you have. Your hearing, your sight, your sense of what's going on around you. Certainty, though.
Oh, laugh! You must live in a pretty large city where there's a need, where where there's a need for. I was laughing at a different kind. You guys know I'm always giggly, like it's just me. Yeah, I would love to. I cannot wait to move to a larger city. I'd absolutely love it. Love it. Love it. Love
Is
it.
way higher standard than what you even need to find in this case. Certainty was way more
Dang.
knowledge
Last said she's
than they
drinking out the
needed
bottle.
to detain Ahmaud Arbery to execute a citizen's arrest. And that was Greg McMichael's intent. He said it from the very beginning. He was asked by the investigator, Parker Marcy testified to you. What was your intent had he stopped? And he said, as clear as a bell, hold him for the police
That's insane.
so that he could.
That is inconceivable. Based on what these three individuals have done to that man, to think that they suddenly would have, you know, anyways, they had no authority to detain him or arrest him. Nevertheless.
Arrested. The judge will charge you that a private citizen can effectuate an arrest, detaining someone for the police to arrive if a crime happens within his knowledge, there's the other one, or his immediate presence.
He's not kept up with it. I do not know what's going on. Girl.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. So here's what you have to know.
Does she not know how to work a projector or something? I think this was in 2021, but I don't know.
Haven't yet heard from the state. There are no magic words that are required.
And laugh, I'd like for you to mail me a beef patty. Mail me a beef patty through USPS.
The court will tell you there's nothing special you have to say to be effectuating a citizen's arrest. There's nothing special you can't say while effectuating a citizen's arrest.
Your point.
If it happens within your knowledge or immediate presence, then you can effectuate a citizen's arrest and criminal trespass, the court will tell you, going on someone's property without the authority and for an unlawful purpose is a crime, the misdemeanor offense of citizen's arrest. And again, what you haven't heard from the state and got some misdirection about, there's no requirement, Judge Walmsley will tell you, for a posting of a no trespassing sign. There's no requirement that any officer execute this trespass warning. It's your place.
I'm really ready to move past her,
And
but I don't
people
want you
should
to watch
stay
this
off
again.
it.
So,
We don't need to be telling people
oh, okay.
ahead of time and giving
That
them
makes
warnings
sense.
if you don't want to. And he'll
I have
also
no idea
charge
what she
you
has going
that as
on.
private citizen can effectuate an arrest, detaining someone for the goal of holding them for the police if he has reasonable grounds of suspicion to believe that a suspect is fleeing or attempting
I know. I was going to talk about her suit. Let me leave her alone.
to flee from a felony. Burglary is a felony. Entering a dwelling place without authority with the intent to commit a theft in there. Not an actual theft, but the reason, the mindset for going into a place that's not yours. So how do you know that if there wasn't actually a theft? Judge Walmsley will tell you. The law will allow you to infer an intent to steal. If there's an unlawful entry, meaning crossing into a place that's not yours,
That's not enough.
a place where valuables are stored, and you heard testimony.
What? I know. I know. I mean, a case has resolved. They were convicted. I guess I'm just gonna reserve my comments. I'll leave it.
That plenty of valuables were stored at 220 Satilla Drive with no other apparent motive for being there. That means
Dang, where's Jerome? Where's Jerome Streets?
every
And Old Bag.
single time Ahmaud Arbery goes into that house, he is committing a burglary. But you hardly needed a jury instruction to tell you that. Coming into someone else's house at night.
Yeah, I can tell. I absolutely can tell. I'd love your store. Just mail me. I only need one thing though. Mail me some beef patties.
Where it's pitch dark, repeatedly, even after you've been run off, into a place where an offshore boat is holding expensive.
Yeah, that's why I said I was gonna reserve my comments because entering a dwelling or property that is not sufficient for it to be considered burglary. Um, and I don't know. Let me leave her alone. But she's definitely she has taken a creative role in her closing argument. So yeah. And then no one says it was the static from folding it in that bag. I don't know. Let me leave her. Let me leave. But she kind of looks like she is. I don't know that she's ironed. Can you iron? I don't think you can iron. What kind of fabric is this? Hold on. I don't know. I have no idea what she has going on.
Equipment.
But the shoes actually what's killing me though.
The intruder comes in, and sometime after that intruder has left, your stuff is gone. Reasonable grounds of suspicion is nothing more.
Right, laugh. And that's why I keep stuttering, because at a construction site, what could he possibly be? What's out there that is valuable? I tools. I would like to think that construction workers take those with them. Uh, I don't know, copper wire. Like what is there? What is there to take? And again, based on the video that we watched yesterday, I don't remember which video it was, but the comments in that video, a lot of folks apparently and even construction workers were saying that it's not uncommon for individuals to visit, homes that are under construction. So, yeah.
Then probable
And
cause.
I don't even think that building had, we have to find it here. I have one of the videos. I don't even think that construction site had light bulbs. There was nothing in there. It was mostly rubble. So
And probable cause, as Mr. Sheffield and the court will tell you,
is this
are
polyester?
facts necessary to
I don't know, because I think this would be closer to boucle, but not exactly because that's a looping method. This is, hold on, I'm gonna find it somewhere.
establish a
Haha,
probability,
wood.
more likely than not. It's less than certainty,
Hola, Tatiana. How you doing?
but it's
Good to
more than
see
mere
you
suspicion.
virtually.
So think of it this way. If
Hey,
Officer
girl.
Rash had been on one of his patrols in Satilla Shores on February 23rd at about 1:08 p.m., and as he turned onto Satilla Drive, he saw
Yeah.
Matt Albenze, who he'd already met, standing in.
Yeah, so this argument, especially when she started off talking about her father working, what was the father selling? I don't know, life insurance policy or health insurance policies or whatever it was. When she started off with her argument or her closing argument, um, about how the father worked a job he did not like and blah blah blah, and in order to build him, it was just a mess.
Front of 220 Satilla Drive, just signaling down that
It does
street
look like
and
that's
down
exactly
that street,
that's exactly what it looks like.
hightailing it, is Ahmaud Arbery.
Muy bien, muy bien. I hope you had a fantastic Friday.
The man that Officer Rash had seen on those video
Right,
cameras
and that is
over
true.
and over
There was
again.
no
So
plumbing. There was nothing in there.
if
Nothing.
he
Absolutely
saw
nothing.
and heard what these men did,
Hmm.
he too would have had probable cause to arrest Ahmaud Arbery for the crime of burglary. There's no doubt he would have put on his sirens and tried to stop Ahmaud Arbery. And there's no doubt after the events of February 11th that Officer Rash would have had his gun at the ready and not taken any chances. And I suspect in your minds, there would be no doubt that Ahmaud Arbery would have known exactly
That he did
why he was being chased.
what the hell?
Or he would have known
Like-
minds.
Oh my goodness. I cannot. Mm.
And I suspect in your minds, there would be no doubt that Ahmaud Arbery would have known exactly why he was being chased.
I cannot believe she actually put these words on paper. I just cannot believe it.
Because there can be little doubt as well that Ahmaud Arbery knew exactly why the McMichaels were trying to detain him
Why?
on February 23rd.
About to drink that great value water.
The truth of life is that it's very complicated.
Oh.
A beautiful teenager with a broad smile and a crooked baseball cap can go astray. He can deteriorate and lose his way. And years later, he can end up creeping into a home that is not his own.
Girl.
And
What? So, hold on.
can go astray. The truth of life is that it's very complicated. A beautiful teenager with a broad smile and a crooked.
These are the type of suits they sell at Was it J.C. Penney? I think J.C. Penney. This is where you can buy this. Then again, this looks like it was probably made in the 80s. I don't know.
Baseball cap can go astray. He can deteriorate and lose his way. And years later, he can end up creeping into a home that is not his own and running away instead of facing the consequences, acting erratically when approached, and making.
I know that this is a very problematic closing. I just cannot believe that they put this in paper.
Terrible, unexpected, illogical choices.
So Arbery is the one that made illogical choices. Again, this is a race baiting argument that she was making, and certainly this argument was tailored towards the 11 white jurors and the 2 alternates, right? Because what?
But a mother's love doesn't fade from that beautiful boy in the ball cap.
This one is, I don't know.
To the young intruder. And sadly, no verdict can change the grief of that future not realized. The hope that he could have turned himself around.
Ma'am.
Because all we can guess about the young man is that his teenage years were full of promise, but his early 20s just led him in the wrong direction.
What is she basing this on other than the fact that he's a black male?
The facts presented in this trial bear no resemblance to the story that the state told you in opening statement. A 25-year-old
How much longer does she
who met a brutal death after being chased and killed by residents of a neighborhood who wanted nothing more than to murder him for having the audacity to jog in their neighborhood. Not a single piece of evidence that's been presented to you in this entire trial supports such a hateful and gruesome set
Ma'am, your entire closing has been hateful.
of circumstances.
I'm just trying to think from a defense perspective. I'm trying to think what would have been a better argument. Again, we're going back to 2021, but this is garbage.
Turning Ahmaud Arbery into a victim after the choices that he made does not reflect the reality
I don't know.
of what brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores in his khaki. What brought Ahmaud does not reflect the reality of what.
So she is pretty much assuming that he had no other purpose or he had absolutely no reason to be there other than to commit a crime.
Brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores.
If that is not a racist closing argument from a defense attorney, then I do not know what is.
In his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to take this timestamp down. Hold on. I'm gonna need to screenshot this. This is probably one of the worst closing arguments I've ever heard in my life. What?
After the choices that he made does not reflect the reality of what brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores in his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails.
That's an audible gasp.
There were
I cannot believe that this attorney. I just cannot believe that she put this on paper. That is. Mm, mm. Uh, I mean, even if she was making an argument that is not, pre-written, one that's not well thought out, it's still inexcusable. But for her to pretty much put this in writing, probably go over it, practice, rehearse a few times, and still have the guts to read this off in open court, it without a doubt, it was a racially charged closing argument. And again, this was written in a way to, influence the 11 white jurors. Um, I just, wow.
2 sets of decision makers on February 23rd.
Wow.
It is not just the McMichaels decisions that led to this tragedy. And it is a tragedy. I see it in your faces, and I have felt it in mine. A young life
Flesh of the
lost,
gods.
grieving parents. Greg and Travis didn't have to do anything on February 23rd. Greg could have looked up from his boat cushions, saw Ahmaud Arbery run past, and shrug his shoulders. Maybe call 911, maybe call Officer Rash, maybe text Diego Perez. And the fear and the frustration of this neighborhood would continue.
What?
But Greg McMichael's driveway
So this is a problematic closing argument. And to have actually written this
would
out.
continue. And the fear, Rash,
What?
maybe text Diego Perez. And the fear and the frustration of this neighborhood would continue.
What fear did this neighborhood have that I don't know.
But Greg,
This is probably the most racist closing. It might be a stretch. There have been worse. There have definitely been worse closing arguments than this. I don't know.
Michael's driveway decision wasn't the only decision that set this tragedy in motion. Ahmaud Arbery was not an innocent victim plundering through Larry English's house on February 23rd, just as he wasn't an innocent victim all the other nights, like October 25th, or November 18th, or December 15th, or February 11th. Is he the person
Dang, no one give me some. Actually, I don't drink tequila. I drink beer.
responsible for stealing
I
Larry
drink
English's
beer.
expensive boat equipment? I don't know. We don't know. No one investigated that. But can anyone?
Yeah, I agree, FFS. Without a doubt, it was racially motivated, but for a defense attorney to take on this racist rhetoric during a closing, I don't know.
Reasonably believe that Ahmaud Arbery was just doing a looky-loo on those nights in what has been described and shown to you as a home drenched in absolute darkness.
Yeah, I don't even know if bad is the word to I don't know that not even the word vile encapsulates what this attorney has just done. This was a vile closing argument.
The judge,
And again, to have actually written this down on paper and not see anything wrong with that argument, then I don't know.
Will instruct you. That you must use common sense and reason. Common sense and reason. There was no legitimate reason for Ahmaud Arbery to be plundering through Larry English's house those 4
That's not a
nights.
reason for him to be gutted
And
out.
again on the afternoon of February 23rd. Ahmaud didn't live there. He didn't work there. He didn't have friends.
All right, Allie. You're not missing much. This closing argument is despicable. It is vile. It is nasty.
There. He didn't have a girlfriend there. He wasn't hanging out with a friend in that neighborhood who was a friend of a friend. He didn't jog through that neighborhood.
This is why I don't talk to my neighbors, you guys. Like I don't talk to people.
He was a recurring nighttime intruder. And that is frightening and unsettling.
Okay, so Brunswick.
A looky-loo.
Yeah, I did not know anything about Georgia. I mean, I used to live in Mississippi, but I do not know. I've only been to Georgia once again. That was many years ago. And I went to Atlanta and that was it.
In an open, unsecured construction site. Why did we have to withstand that drumbeat?
FFS said that he is an unlicensed attorney. FFS is an unlicensed attorney, okay? Yeah, sheesh.
Why? Let's clear a few things up.
She's definitely not making a legal argument.
The judge will charge you that for birth.
And this is an argument that probably we're going to have to compare this closing to the Trayvon Martin closing. That case was too difficult for me, so I never really kept up with it apart from, what the news would report at the end of every, what is this? The end of at the end of the trial or whatever. But from a defense perspective, at least what I've heard from, public defenders, again, they might be white folks in the public defenders group, so different demographics, different outlook. But from what I understand, the closing argument in that case was supposedly compelling. Okay, but there are a lot of factors. But obviously, the jurors in this case did not buy this nonsense that you were spewing out
burglary
there.
purposes, a
Not
dwelling
really nonsense. It's more so hatred.
is any structure that is intended for residential use. It makes no difference if it's occupied, being built, under construction, unoccupied, or vacant. And that only makes sense. How could you ever build a home if it
Laugh, I could use a lot of help with like with sound effects, and I mean, no one's gonna hook me up though.
wasn't really yours to
Right.
protect
And that's all thanks to my, girl, Big Kazo Jasmine.
till it was done? For that matter, how could you ever expect your stuff to be safe when your teenager forgets to close the garage door?
What?
Really, when you're teenager, how could you ever done? For that matter, how could you ever expect your stuff to be safe when your teenager forgets to close the garage door? Really, with all the important.
So, in essence, this attorney is making an argument that black folks are a threat. If your little kid or if your teenager forgets to close a window, a garage, anything of that nature, then there's going to be an invasion. That's what it sounds like, and even worse.
Law to consider. Why the misdirection? Why? And why the insensitivity to the neighbors of Satilla Shores?
They said she's a bitch.
It's only a looky-loo when it isn't your neighborhood. It's only an open.
Right. And I think it extends, this closing argument extends beyond the description of Arbery's toes or toenails. Okay, the entirety of this closing argument is vile. It is racially charged. And again, I don't know. Maybe that's how she was going to connect with the folks down there. But
On open, unsecured construction site when it's not the building of your dream
yeah, I heard
home,
that. I'm way behind.
hastened by this
I
impending
am way
fatal
behind.
illness of Larry English's. It's only a property crime when you're not Subi Lawrence, across the street from that house, living alone, trying to raise 3 rambunctious boys, and you can't even let them outside to play. It's only
White folks.
a property crime if you're not Diego and Brooke Perez, trying to
Okay.
raise 3 little girls.
So Love said apparently that it might be the norm down there. So I if that's an argument, then I guess that's an argument. But I'm glad that this argument got nowhere.
Safely next door to 220 Satilla Drive.
Yeah.
No one but Ahmaud Arbery made the decision to repeatedly and unlawfully enter into that house over and over again. No one but Ahmaud Arbery made the decision to run.
No, and I'm so lost. Why should I don't drink great value water, but why should people not drink great value water?
Like the wind when the police car responded to the calls from the owner and the neighbors. No one but Ahmaud Arbery made the decision to either reach for.
Okay. So Laugh says that she has also gone to, I guess construction sites that friends were building to see what the homes look like inside. All right. So I suppose people do that, but listen, this what was that date? I think it was, what was it? It was Halloween, okay? This Halloween. I was late in my preparations because I had reached out to my daughter's my daughter really she asked for it. She came home with some number that belonged to a friend's parent, and these two little girls had planned on going trick-or-treating together, whatever. So I really don't want to do it, but I reached out to the number, and then the mom was like, no, they already had plans. And I'm like, okay, so what on earth am I going to do now? Um, and I live in the middle of nowhere. Like when I say I live in the middle of nowhere, I really live in the middle of nowhere. Okay. So I was trying to figure out, okay, which neighborhoods could I possibly go to go trick or treating? Right. And usually when I lived in larger cities, my thing was the mall. I go to the mall, I walk this kid once around and we're done. We're done. Walk around once, we're good to go. We have enough candy. So I reached out to my employer, and lovely white lady. Okay, reached out to my employer, and we said we're gonna go trick or treating around her neighborhood, right? Because she lives in a. I live in the middle of nowhere. She lives in an actual neighborhood. It's not that big, but it's a neighborhood in the middle of nowhere. All right. So we go out there, and it's so country out here. It's pitch black everywhere. Okay. So my baby and I walked around. We just went down the street once, went up a little bit. We were done like in 15 minutes. And my baby had very little candy. Okay. When my employer saw this, because we went back to a house after, when she saw this, she was like, what, you guys need to walk around. She's trying to show me where to go. I'm like, I'm not trying to get shot out here by white people. Like, what the hell? She's like, no, nothing ever happens here. I'm like, yeah, until it happens. But I don't mess around with people like that. And it's not to say that it's messing around, because I think people should be allowed to walk around in neighborhoods, jog around in neighborhoods, even look at construction sites if they choose to. But I'm distrustful. I don't trust people like that. But that's also because I've been traumatized by things, by cases such as these. So, okay. What is FFS saying? I'm sorry, I'm distracted. So he was jogging and simply wanted to see what the house was going to look like how the house was being built. And the crime was that he was black. Absolutely. She's not making any legal arguments, but she's definitely letting everybody know that she's a racist. They showed surveillance footage of white people frequently looking around that same house during the construction build. Well, apparently circumstances or the requirements were different. Okay. No one says she reminds me of the women from the movie Death Becomes Her. I've not watched it. I've not watched enough movies in my life, and most of my stuff though, I watch like Snow on the Bluff and things like that. But I don't watch a lot of movies. Okay, and then Lav says that's why I don't watch these kind of trials because it pisses me off. I'm sorry for my language. I can't watch it. I can't even watch movies like that. Yeah. And then I yeah, some of these trials I tend to, look away from, but I'm very interested. I'm interested, not even just interested. I am invested in the Jackie Johnson trial because at the time, she was the prosecutor, the district attorney, really, for the county where this occurred. And she hindered prosecution. So I'm interested, like, I try and keep up with these people. Even that Sandra Dorley out of someplace in New York. I looked up again today to see what was happening with, her misconduct. But yeah, okay, FFS is they didn't even know him. Right. How about if the builder who's building those houses wasn't building one for him or his family? And I mean, oh, FFS, you said you didn't watch the video from yesterday, but we played a clip of, I can probably, what time is it? Dang, it's much later. It's much later than I had planned on being up here. But let me find that video. Yeah, let me find that video. That's gonna be a great segue. Let me find the video and then we'll call it a night and then we'll carry on tomorrow. And then right. No one, that is correct. Basically her whole closing argument is a dog whistle. I don't even know if it's a dog whistle. That's more like, a bullhorn. Okay. And then Survivor says she is Brian Steele's client. Is she getting sued? She's vile. This is unacceptable. She is Brian Steele's client, but what I'm interested in, it appears that she was previously around 2021. She was represented by a different attorney. And I'm gonna, I'm always going down. I was trying to figure out things that have nothing to do with me. I'm interested in knowing why she changed attorneys. And she's not getting sued. This is a criminal case. She's charged with two counts. One count is violating her oath of office. The second count is, I think it's called obstruction of justice or hindering justice, something along those lines. I don't know how it's phrased in Georgia. Who wants to bet a husband, brother, or daddy? Yep, yep. And then Survivor says that my husband and I go in houses that are being built each time we are in Georgia. Well, I don't know, Survivor. I don't know. I'm not putting any money against it. Okay, let's go. Let's go. All right. Uh, okay. Okay, so Laugh does not watch these type of trials. She says that she did not follow the George Floyd or the Trayvon Martin case. That's completely understandable. And then Real Thing says that the owner of that house didn't even care about people checking out the progress of the construction. The owner seemed like he was not overly concerned about Arbery periodically checking out the house. Okay, I don't watch movies that I have to deal with. Okay, let's go. Oh, I actually caught up. Yay. Yeah, it is pretty it is upsetting. And then the only reason I'm watching this is you're so sweet, Laugh. Laugh says the only reason she's watching this is because I'm her girl and she's supporting me. But if it wasn't her life, I definitely would not be watching. And don't feel compelled to watch this, okay? I'm gonna I have to I was gonna say fix my computer. There's nothing wrong with the computer. I just do not have enough memory on here. So when my man, I'm gonna be talking about my man. When he comes next weekend, he is going to sort this. He could have done that. He could have done that in November though. But yeah, he's gonna sort this whole thing out because I don't have enough space on my computer to be able to edit videos. But I want to get back into my messy videos. All right. Okay, let's see. I forgot about my clothes actually. I did. That's why I set these alarms. I always have random alarms because I get easily sidetracked. And then okay, all right. So let me see if I can find. No, I cannot. I don't want to take this off because I don't want to lose this timestamp. Let's see, where are we? It's like 11:27. This is like 30 minutes after I'd planned on stopping. Okay, we'll watch this 3 more minutes. And I'm gonna come back. I don't know, FFS, you're just gonna have to watch yesterday's live. You can fast forward. It's going to be the very end. There's a witness that takes the stand, white lady, but her description, not even her description, part of her testimony was that she pretty much told herself not, or she had to remind herself not to be racist while she was testifying. And um, as she was describing a black individual that was leaving, I don't remember if it's the same property or not, but she had pretty much reduced this man because she said, I think it was actually Arbery. Um, her testimony was something along the lines of, I guess they had some what I'd call a stare down, okay, and she had assumed, out of all leaps she could have taken, she had assumed that Arbery was a construction worker. Out of everything he possibly could have been, right? She reduced him to a construction worker because obviously, first, she assumed that he was up to no good. And then she had to tell herself not to be racist. And after she reminded herself not to be racist, she went on to be racist by reducing this individual that she absolutely does not know, has never met before, knows nothing about, to a construction worker. All right, so Ellie says, "All right, y'all, I gotta try and calm my kiddo down." Okay. All right, Ellie. Well, thank you for tuning in. You're always a joy to have around. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll. I'm gonna need to invest in some glasses. I need to monetize this channel so I can buy some glasses that I can keep out here and not be worried about, not taking them, not taking them to work. All right, let's see. All right, good night, Tatiana. I'm out as well. Okay, I'm heading out. I'm heading out. I'm heading out. Okay, yeah, I'm heading out, folks. I could go longer, but I could I could go longer, but I need to talk to my man. Okay. Need to talk to my man, and I need to get these clothes out the dryer, and I shall be back tomorrow. And then let's see. I'm gonna have to drive. I'm not happy tomorrow. I'm gonna have to drive. I hate driving, but when you live in the middle of nowhere, you have to drive everywhere. So yeah, tomorrow my kiddo and I are gonna be on the road for a little bit. I think tomorrow we can start early though. Early for me is like 7, 8. Early for me is like 7, 8, 7, 8. Okay, so I'll schedule the live eventually when I get up here, but we shall continue. All right. Okay, and then Survivor has to, Survivor has to go on and parent. We all have to. Okay, my baby's asleep. My baby's asleep, but I am going to, be somebody's romantic partner. All right, folks, have a fantastic weekend. I'll talk to you guys on Saturday. I don't have a time yet, but I'll be up here. Thank you all for tuning in. No one, FFS, Real Thing, Tatiana, Flesh of the Gods, Ali, Jasmine. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Survivor. Shout out to Diggy. Jerome. Uh, Old Bag, Greg, Callie, and I'm just naming Adiana, and I'm just naming names. But okay, all right, folks. Real thing, everybody. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm gonna talk about Donald Trump tomorrow, though. We'll see. We might have to talk about Donald Trump a little bit. Yeah, we might. Yeah, we might have to talk about Donald Trump. We'll see. We'll see. All right, folks. I am off. We will reconvene. I am ending the live.